All right. Arsenal exploring Julian Alvarez transfer. Guys, you might see this as a dream. You might see it as a myth. But I tell you what, Arsenal are still looking at players that will obviously empower their squad. When you look at Arsenal, the assessment is really big, and they're going to the next level. And I do believe that it's high time they obviously went ahead to get in more proven players. You understand? And proven players that are really world class. You get? Now, Julian Alvarez came to the Premier League, and he went ahead to play, I think, 2 seasons at the club of Man City, and then he was sold to Atletico Madrid for close to, is it 90 to 100 million euros, and he really crossed to that side. Now, Arsenal are exploring a move for him. Smash the like button, comment and share, and continue to subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more we obviously get to the levels that you're supposed to be in there, because you want to hit 29,000 subscribers. And please go ahead and really subscribe, because we are less by 58 subscribers to hit 28,200. So please do the needful by really subscribing. Now, who went ahead to bring us this story? It was none other than James Olley. And what did James Olley have to say about this particular deal? He said, Arsenal are currently exploring a summer move for Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Sources in Spain suggest Atletico will demand a fee in excess of 100 million euros this summer if they are willing to sell at all. That is it. So, Arsenal, why do they need this guy? You get? Why do they need this guy? And before I tell you why they need this guy, let me also bring you a story coming in through from David Austin that Arsenal are considering Julian Alvarez in the summer. His name came up. You could see that sort of player coming into Arsenal. If there is going to be outward maneuvering, then there is definitely scope for an arrival in attacking positions. He also added and said, I think right back is an interesting area for Arsenal that has probably been on their long-term agenda. It wouldn't surprise me if they're looking around their names. I don't know. So he has gone ahead to say that Arsenal, in this last summer of 2025, they're really looking out for a player known as Julian Alvarez, and he was on the list of Arsenal. You get? But they went ahead, obviously, getting Jokeres, and they are really having him in there for you. But why is Arsenal interested in Julian Alvarez? First and foremost, who is the sporting director of Arsenal? The sporting director of Arsenal is known as Andre Bata. And what was his last job? His last job was at Atletico Madrid, and he was the sporting director there. Now, when you see a player going to a club, it doesn't mean that that guy or that player had been scouted that summer transfer window. Clubs take like 2, 3, 4 seasons scouting players, and they do have a list of very many players. Now, Andre Bata was at Atletico Madrid, and I think he was obviously working to bring in this guy known as Julian Alvarez. And when you look at Andre Bata, he was at Atletico Madrid from, I want to really be exact. He has been at Atletico Madrid. He joined Atletico Madrid as a technical director and was promoted to sporting director in 2017. During his tenure, Atletico Madrid enjoyed one of the most successful periods in its modern history. So he was there until 2025, meaning that he's the man responsible for obviously bringing in a player known as Julian Alvarez, meaning that he brought him in, and he brought him expensively because of the attributes that he knows this guy really has. And that interest is still there. And he looks at him as one of those center forwards that would come in throughout the club of Arsenal to do the needful. And David Austin confirms to us that if there is any outgoing in the forward positions, then that deal can get to materialization. What deal are you talking about? Talking about a deal of Julian Alvarez in there. So, it's a fact, proven. Arsenal's interest in Julian Alvarez is genuine. You know, it's genuine, 100% genuine, and they want him to come in through to do the job at the club of Arsenal. When you look at the forwards of Arsenal, obviously they're not really doing well. Actually, I was really watching a certain show here in my country, and one of the pundits was like, when you look at Arsenal, their front three is not really scary. You know, when you look at Bukayo Saka, I think he has 4 goals. Let's see Saka. Saka in the Premier League. In the Premier League, Saka has 4 goals and 4 assists. You know, those are just 8 goal involvements. Let's get to Trossard. Trossard has 5 goals in the Premier League and 4 assists, so they are more or less the same. We go to a player known as Gyökeres. That is the front three, the front three of Arsenal. The starters in there. Gyökeres has 5 Premier League goals, so that means that the solution to that hasn't obviously going to need to be found, and they're like, we need a forward who can obviously bang in 20 goals. Because if Arsenal really had a forward who can bang in like 20 goals like Haaland, you know, because Haaland is now in 20 goals plus at Man City, Arsenal would have gone ahead to be like 10 points ahead of any team. But they're really lacking that person to come out and obviously put out a very beautiful shape to see to it that they really stop this team from obviously having what you call goal deficiencies in there. But the other factor is these goals being evenly distributed. It means a lot. You get? And I think for Andrea Bartha is like, I've ever gone ahead to see a team of Man City when they're having Kevin De Bruyne with 10 goals plus and 15 assists. With Julian Alvarez, you know, going in for 15, 16 goals in the Premier League. Erling Haaland going in for 20, 30 goals, meaning that he would love to build a forward line that is really very lethal and goal scoring that will obviously shock most of the people outside there. And I do support him 100% because if you want to be one of the best teams in the world, you need to be looking out for the best solutions in there. You have to ask yourself, if I'm having Gyökeres as my main targetsman or talisman at Arsenal, is he the best forward in the world? And the answer will be no. And you'll be like, let me go in for the best forward in the world. And who is the best forward in the world? I think Julian Alvarez is amongst those that can obviously do the needful. And he's really young because he's 24 years of age. He's obviously going to be making 25 years of age come the 30th of... come the 31st of this month. So I support Arsenal to go in for this guy, but that means there will be players to be moved. And when you look at Mikel Arteta, if you looked at how he played Kai Havertz last night, it shows you that they might get Kai Havertz back in the midfield and then take out Nogard, and they're like, we are bringing in another force on the line, such that they're having Jesus, Julian Alvarez, and Gyökeres. And remember, for Julian Alvarez, he not only plays as a center forward, he can play as a right forward, he can play as a left forward. So he's a mild-functional player. One of the characteristics that Arsenal looks out in the players that they obviously go in for, especially into those forward positions, as they want that competition to obviously continue growing, and if at all injuries coming through to affect their team, they feel like they're really having solutions in the dynamism of the players that they do have at their club. So that is Julian Alvarez for you. And the other big factor is that Arsenal is not assured of the injury immuneness of Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. Those players are really injury prone. You cannot obviously come out and really say that they're obviously going to be there for a very long period of time. So they are like, we want to bring in a player whose injury record is really very perfect for the club of Arsenal and can obviously do the needful. In the Champions League, he scores goals, and also in the La Liga, he's also scoring goals. Proven striker, and guess what? He's a winner. You know, he has gone ahead to win the Champions League. He won the World Cup. He won the Copa America. He literally went ahead to obviously win everything, at a young age. He won the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, so his winning mentality is really up there, and he has obviously gone ahead to win very many trophies in there for you. So guys, I call upon for your reactions in the comment section below about Arsenal exploring Julian Alvarez transfer. I'm out. Bye-bye.